Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Nicole, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't understand. I don't understand her thought process. Okay, when Ava gets into the room, and, she's being all fake and phony and stuff like that. Bringing cookies and stuff like that, and be like, oh well, my best friend, and at least he wasn't alone. This, that, and third. Nicole, while I get that she Well, I get that she's upset with Ava for what she's doing. I thought Nicole's whole plan was to try to get evidence, to try to use Allie to get some sort of evidence from Ava, so that way they could sit there and get the charges dropped. So why in the hell did she think it was a good idea to just blurt out, "Hey Ava, I know that you're the one that framed Brave, because of the fact that we slept together." Like, what? What made her go that route? And this can't just be the fact that she was upset what Ava was doing, because they kind of theorized that before. So what changed? I mean, besides the fact that he's now actually in jail, I just don't understand how she thought that that was the way to go. But to me, but to be honest, Nicole, let's just sit there and say she's not one for making the brightest decisions. Um, so yeah, when that comes out, when Nicole's like, about us sleeping together and stuff like that, Rafe was like, yeah, I'm sorry, it's been going on for a while, and I'm just looking at this whole thing like, you scumbag. And this was when Ava was like, I asked you, and you lied to me. You made me believe in this whole fairy tale, this whole thing that we can work this, that, and the third. And, I felt like with Rafe, he didn't even really seem like he was too sincere about it. It was like he was just more concerned with, so, now that everything is out, before this goes too further, you know, you can find a way, we can find a way to get the charges dropped. I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. You gave a half-hearted ass apology to her, okay? And yeah, yeah, I get the fact he was like, "Oh, you deserve better," but it just didn't feel like he really cared. It felt like he just wanted to find a way to have her get the charge dropped. Not that he really cared about how she felt. Um, but she doesn't cop to anything. She's just like, "Hey, you're gonna be going to jail for a while, but I guess she'll sit there and wait for you." So she leaves, and then you know Nicole's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for sitting there blurting that out." Are you, Nicole? Like, really? How does your mind work? I don't understand that. But then again, this is the same woman that felt that when Eric came back, that they could just go to a party and act like nothing happened. And still to this day will blame Sammy instead of just being like, hey, you know what? I messed up. Instead, she'll sit there and run the same like, well, if you didn't say anything, then we'll still be together. So she apologizes, and Rafe was like, no, it's fine. Now everything is all in the open, and we can finally be together. Are you kidding me? Did you really just sit there and say, I'm glad that it's out in the open, because now we can be together? You do realize you're going to jail, right? Like, jail. Like, real jail. I don't even understand how those words came out of his mouth. But of course, Nicole's like, well, don't give up hope. We're going to sit there and find proof. You're going to find proof. You just tipped your hand and let her know that you're on to her. But you're going to somehow find proof. Okay, sweetheart, I want to see how this whole thing is going to play out. To be honest, I'm on Ava's side. Um, Nicole, I have some choice words that unfortunately I'm not going to sit there and say because they involve a lot of curse words. But I'm going to sit there and say that you're a scumbag. Rafe, you're a scumbag. And to be honest, he's among the worst kinds. He's not the worst, but he's among the worst kinds because he's the type of person that will come across as this nice and honest and good hearted guy when you do scumbagish behavior like that, and then after everything is said and done, you give half hearted ass apologies. So I even when I saw him, in the like the jail attire, whatever, and he looked like he was all tired and stuff like that. I was like, bro, I don't feel bad for you at all. You deserve all of this. The look of lack of sleep and the worry and everything like that. You deserve all of it. After Marlena, it's been a minute. So after Marlena was there finished talking to John about Valentine's Day and all the flowers and everything like that shit she got, Nancy comes in there. Nancy wants to sit there and talk. And uh, listen, I'm not gonna sit there and try to defend some of the acidine things that came out of Nancy's mouth because it was a lot of them. And granted, even though what she said out of hurt, you gotta sit there and understand two things. The stuff that she said, it was said out of hurt, anger, and grief of the end of her marriage. But at the same time, you still said it. She still said things like, "Oh, could we find a way to sit there and convert him back into the husband?" And I knew it. I was like, "I'm sorry, what did you just say? What did this chick just say? Did she just say that she wants to convert her husband back into the way he used to be, as far as loving her again?" Now, granted, she does apologize for that. She realized that, well, that just did not come out right at all. Um, Hence why I'm sitting saying that she's, hurt and stuff like that. And because, Marlena was like, you're saying that, like, there's something wrong with him. And there's nothing wrong with him. Which, she had to sit there and backtrack the stuff that she was saying. She was saying some things. And I'm not going to be a dick about it. I mean, listen, I felt bad for her. Okay? She may not be, well, let's be honest, she annoys me as a character. With that being said, it sucks what's happening to her. And, her getting up and thanking her and walking off. Throughout most of that conversation, I'm kind of just like, but then, when she got up towards the end and she said thank you and you still see her like sobbing and stuff like that, I was just like, man, I know this chick is kind of annoying, but I actually feel bad for her. Um, she does run into Greg and, she gets all angry and stuff like that because Greg says some stuff where it's like, bro, this is not something that you say to someone after you done cheated on this person, you broke this person's heart. You're saying things like, well, we'll still be friends. I don't think I actually have to sit there and go into an explanation of why you shouldn't say those words. Now earlier, Craig was sitting down, see Johnny without a shirt on, and he starts staring at him. Johnny Oblong. And Johnny Oblong, um, turns around and is like, the hell are you looking at? Greg tries to, is it Craig or Greg? Because I'm going to get his name right eventually at some point again. But Greg is like, I think it's Greg. Greg is like, oh, I'm just looking through emails, this, that, and the third. And so, Johnny Oblo just starts, decides to start flirting with him. Um, and then they see Chloe, and he leaves. And Chloe's like, "What are you doing? You know, you're sitting there flirting with some new guy already." And first of all, I was like, "Sweetheart, I get that you're sitting there protective of your mom, and that's great and admirable. But who the hell are you to sit there and tell him what he should be doing with his time? Like, are you kidding me?" I sat there, was like, "Yo, I wish you had a time machine so you could just go right back in time and back up for a minute before you decide to start coming at him like that." Because one, you're not his keeper, and you're not his parent. The hell you think you are? And this is when Greg is like, listen, for the longest time I had to sit there and hide who I was. This way I wouldn't feel, because I felt bad. I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt like I was hurting my family and stuff. And this is stuff that he's feeling. So when she walks up there with that type of bravado, trying to judge him, this, that, and the third, it's like, whoa, sweetheart, why don't you sit there and listen to how he feels before you just start popping off at the mouth? Because after that, she kind of sat there and felt guilty about it, which I'm glad that she did. Um, but Greg is like, he's coming to town. And his new boyfriend's coming to town, and she does. After a talk, she's like, listen, I want to be there for you, and I know I'm protective of her, but you're hurting and everything like that. I want to be there for you. And that's when Greg is like, yeah, he's coming to town. I didn't really sit there and I didn't tell him to, but he kind of just took a flight out here. And at first, she gets all kind of defensive, like, "Oh, you're gonna sit there and flaunt him around, this, that, and the third." And again, I was like, "Sweetheart, who are you to sit there and tell him what to do with his time?" I get again that she's sitting there trying to defend her mom, but telling him, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be sitting there doing this," like, and who made you mayor this town? No one? Okay, that's what I thought. But she does sit there and agree to meet him. Um, Now Brady is with John. And, Brady's like, I can't sit there and act on my feelings with her because Philip is missing. Now, I do sit there and do that posture because, I'm online, I'm on Instagram, and, they're asking questions like, especially the days page, like, "Oh, are you ready for, Brady and Chloe's, relationship, or them to be the new couple, or whatever?" And I was like, well, if I'm not, does it really matter? I mean, let's be honest. Her boyfriend's missing, could be dead. And, you know, I'm getting stuff on my feed talking about, are you ready for them to sit there and be together? No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really care. Um, but Chloe does come over there and ask Brady, could you come with me for more support as far as meeting my dad's new boyfriend, which of course is Valentine's Day. I don't remember what answer he gave, but I'm pretty sure he's going to want him going. So, yeah. Gabby, 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 Gabby. I'm not gonna lie. In the beginning, when Gabby was sent to sleep, and you find out Jake is the one that's like, taking the flower, whatever, and like, caressing it across her body, I was kind of like, um, y'all just gonna show that whole scene? I mean, here's the thing: it's not like it's a super like sexual scene or anything like that, but that flower does go to a place where, below the equator on the back end side. But after he does that, she wakes up and he's not there trying to give her chocolates, and of course Gabby's still upset with what she thought that Jake was not there saying as far as trying to betray her. So she gets really angry at him and then makes up some sort of excuse like, "Oh, well, I'm allergic to cherries and my mouth will close and stuff like that." um but then afterwards, she decides to leave. She doesn't want to really sit there and kind of be with him at the time. So she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and see Rafe for support or whatever." So she leaves. I guess she must have left her phone because not John, Jake looked at it, and of course it was Johnny sent there texting saying, "Oh, I got something for you" or something like that. I can't remember exactly what he texts. But so Jake goes down to the police station and sees Rafe and Nicole, and it's like, "Yo, have you seen Gabby?" And Rafe was like, "Yo, she ain't here, and she didn't show up." So at this point, Jake is like, where the hell is she at?" Now, of course, Gabby went to go see Johnny, blowing off some steam, like just getting really, like, pretty much venting to him about, Valentine's Day and how nice he was in there acting, even though, quote unquote, he's trying to stab her in the back. So, Johnny Diablo comes out with some more fake evidence at this point. Basically, Smith is saying that he's trying to get the shares from Gabby taken away, since some along the clause or whatever was like, oh well, she's not really blood, so she really shouldn't be having no shares. And at this point, Gabby's like, what? Are you serious? Like, she doesn't even believe it at one point. But John Diablo has a paper, and he turns it around like, yo, is this, because it's some sort of paper basically saying this is what Jake is doing. And he looks at it, and of course, when he turns the paper around, it's his signature. So now she is fuming. She is fuming. She gets a call from Jake, and at first she wants to just run off and leave and like try to kill him. But Johnny's like, yo, listen, don't do that. Play the long game. Be calm, and we'll sit there and take him out, and we'll have fun crushing them together. Even when she picks up the phone, she's about to go off on him, but Johnny's like, yo, listen, don't do that because we're gonna crush them together. Of course, that's not really what's gonna. I mean, at the end of the day, John Diablo, the minute he probably gets what he wants, he's gonna sit there and kick Gabby to the curb. Um, now I know a couple of people were sitting there saying like it was rumored that they were gonna be together, like Johnny and Gabby, and it was gonna be some sort of another love child or something. But I don't really see that happening. Like somebody was sitting there saying that Gabby was going to be pregnant with Johnny's baby, but I'm like, but then he wouldn't be so obsessed with Sierra's baby if that was the case. So I don't know. I guess you just have to sit there and wait and see what happens, but it would make no sense. Then again, um, if the rumors are true, Victoria, the woman who plays Sierra, is leaving. If they don't get they don't recast or do a temporary recast, whatever, and that might be the next step. Like they might actually. I don't want to sit there and say they're going to kill her off because again, do not believe what I'm saying. Do your research. That's just a theory. I don't know. I think that's about it for the most part. I did enjoy this episode. It had just the right amount of suspense. Um, that made it real. That made it actually pretty good. And again, I've been missing this show for a hot minute, and so having it back on is great. It's been crazy today. The only shows that was actually on was GH and Days. B&B, they're gonna put that on tomorrow because of the news coverage, and also Y&R, which kind of works out perfectly for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna sit there and try to stretch it out, maybe watch B&B and just kind of put a post saying that I'm not gonna do a video on Y&R. Like I'll watch it, but I'm not gonna do a video on it. But yeah, it kind of worked out today. So besides the fact that I got to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. So yeah. With that being said, I think that's about it. Thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.